or welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. My name is Gabi. I host this YouTube channel, and today's video is a little bit different. It's still a live stream broadcast, so I'm doing this in real time with no script, and that is a huge benefit because today's video is simply dedicated to answering your questions. That's real people's real questions all about the new Hyundai Palisade. So about 2 days ago, we received the very first one on our lot here in Brantford, Ontario, and it's an ultimate calligraphy in the V6 engine. Now, a lot of you guys had your questions, but we didn't have a lot of time to get to all of them. That's why today's video is simply dedicated to answering the questions. Now, I'm gonna just grab my iPad because this is how I'm communicating with you guys in the live chat. I'm seeing a couple of you say hello, so hey, it's good to see y'all. I hope we got some good questions today. Now, I see Ryan's on, DTUK's on, Eduardo's on, a lot of our regulars. Now, Eduardo said, a wonderful name, Gabi, but also your name stands for great heart, accomplished, brilliant, incredible. That is very kind. Thank you. Ruthless Biscuits on as well, too. Now, I wanted to say right off the bat that we finally have pricing released. Now, when I say pricing, I mean simply the MSRP because finance rates and interest rates have not dropped yet. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, but I guess we'll see. In the meantime, let me read out the MSRPs, and we're going to start off with the entry trim level. That's the preferred trend with an 8-passenger seating only. The preferred trend is also only going to be available as the V6 engine configuration. That MSRP is $53,699 Canadian, and of course, all of these MSRPs I'm sharing with you is the price before taxes and fees. That'll also be before charges like freight and air. Now, next up is the XRT Pro. The XRT Pro is only available as a 7-passenger configuration, so that means the second row will have captain's chairs, and it's also only available with a 3.5-liter V6 too. That price point is $57,799 Canadian. From there, we get our last option for the V6 power plant, and that is the Ultimate Calligraphy V6. What I showed you guys the other day. So that's priced at $62,499, and that is the fully loaded model for the V6. 3.5-liter V6 power plant, regular automatic transmission, 5,000 pounds of towing capacity, and fully loaded. After that, we get into hybrid territory. So the hybrid is only available on the luxury trim level and the ultimate calligraphy trim. The luxury trim gives you the option for either an 8-seater or a 7-seater, with the 8-seater being priced at $60,499 Canadian and the 7-passenger being $60,999 Canadian. So a $500 price difference if you want to opt for the captain's chairs instead. There we go. And then if you want to get the fully loaded ultimate calligraphy trim for the hybrid, it will be priced at $65,699 Canadian. Now, there's no difference in real technology or equipment in the ultimate calligraphy, whether you get hybrid or V6. It's simply the powertrain. So your engine transmission, as well as, of course, your horsepower and torque output and fuel efficiency will be different, but the interior equipment and technology will remain the same. All right. So again, let's just compare the two ultimate calligraphy trim levels. If you're getting the V6, it's $62,499. If you're getting the 2.5-liter turbo hybrid, it's $65,699. All right. Now time for your questions. Whoop. Okay. So 8 is the bench in the middle and rear, I think. My sister loves the middle bench as it can be used to keep stuff from rolling forward. Yes, so any configuration with the 8-seater passenger will have a full 3-row seat in the very second row. Hi, Gabi. Can you show or explain the vehicle's gross vehicle weight? I'll have to find that exact value. I do not have that off the top of my head, but I can show you the driver's side. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can find that info on the driver's side. I thought you wanted me to show you the driver's seating configurations and controls and then explain the gross vehicle weight too. Now, be honest, Gabriella, if you had to take along another road trip with several passengers, would you rather take the Palisade or an EV9? I would probably take the Palisade just because I do not want to have to plan my road trip based off charging. I barely ever plan anything, so I don't want to have to, you know what I mean? That being said, I have taken the EV9 on a few trips, none of which required me to stop for charging, but I did really enjoy it. It's a very comfortable car. Ryan broke down the price. Thank you so much. Someone also asked the XRT price point. The XRT Pro is $57,799. All right, let's go take a look at our vehicle weight. So the hybrid will of course be slightly heavier. And this is the Ultimate Calligraphy V6, so it is fully loaded, a lot more equipment in this model, so it will be slightly heavier. I'm gonna try my best to make sure the gimbal doesn't drop when I show you this, but, oh geez, I think it is. I can read it out to you. So our GVWR, we are at 28, oh, why can't I focus this? Let me try, sorry. 2,870 kilograms in the front. All right, and I don't know if you guys can actually read that. You can pause to read. It looks like it's clear enough from my camera lens. This vehicle is also produced in Korea. Now that's for the V6 and the hybrid, so huge win for us here in Canada. The hybrids are expected to start production middle of August, so that would indicate likely a late fall arrival. Usually I like to give 2 months from production to actual arrival, so I would say October, November. Now the paint color on this particular model is called Galaxy Maroon. It looks very black on camera, but in the sunlight, mind you, we don't have a lot of sun today, you really get the beautiful red and burgundy shades. It's a very, very classy color that complements the Palisade nicely. The Ultimate Calligraphy also gives you a couple exterior exclusives. So number one will be the wheels. These are 20-inch, 21-inch alloys with a nice sputtering alloy design. And your tires are Pirelli Scorpion all-season tires with acoustic foam insulation in the rubber itself. So that's going to give you a quiet ride. All models of the Palisade are expected to have a very, very smooth and luxurious ride regardless of trim level because there's so much more noise, vibration, harshness technology integrated into the car itself. So a lot of sound deadening materials even in the entry model. I'm talking acoustic windshields, acoustic glass all around, just a lot of premium touches. The front end on all trim levels will have full LED headlamps. You'll also have a little bit of a silver coating on the lens itself. So when the car is off, it doesn't necessarily look like a light. It just looks like a nice piece of exterior design trim. The grille, nicely finished with some satin chrome on the Ultimate Calligraphy, is all horizontal, which really widens the front end of this car, giving it that luxe look. The car itself has definitely grown from last year's Palisade, so we have a longer wheelbase and a longer vehicle. There's also a lot more space in both the second and third row. The third row itself is also very, very impressive with the sense that the very back seats, so your third row seats, they recline, but they also slide forwards and backwards. So if you have a full house, passengers in all 3 rows, but you also have cargo to take with you, you can move those back seats up a little bit while still keeping them in use. Or if you have no cargo, they can recline a bit and move backwards to give you more legroom. Very handy, and for the first time ever, we also have heated seats in the third row. Very, very impressive. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Scroll up a little bit. Just popping by to say, hi, Gabby. Yellow is always a great choice. Thank you. Can you get second row massage seats? So no, you do get massage seats for the driver though, or massage seat for the driver in the Ultimate Calligraphy trims. So that'd be both for gas and hybrid. Okay, are the taillights LEDs too? Yes, they are. If I bought one of these, I would get a custom plate that says park. How is the road noise? So I drove this one today and on Tuesday, very, very, very quiet. So I made a note to myself to drive without listening to any music, and the sound, it's so muted in this car. If you want to hear some engine noise, you can put it in sport mode and drive a little more aggressive, but it's nothing annoying. You don't hear a lot of road noise, you don't hear a lot of wind noise. Everything just feels very solid in this car. So it does have a very premium feel. Jerry said, I'm debating between the Palisade or the Santa Fe, but leaning towards the Palisade. So I always used to say when the Santa Fe first got redesigned that it's kind of a Palisade killer. I would much rather prefer the Santa Fe over the previous Palisade. But now that we got this, it's getting very, very tough. So of course, price point does play a big factor, as well as how much space do you really need. A lot of the functions you can get on the Santa Fe, you can also get in the Palisade or vice versa. So if it makes more sense to save a couple dollars and get the Santa Fe, it's an option, but Palisade is also very impressive. That being said, there is quite a bit in the Palisade that we haven't seen yet in the Hyundai world, and one of those major things is the integrated dash cam. So I know you can put a dash cam in just about any car, but having it built into this vehicle and not requiring any special hardwiring or, third-party accessories, it's quite nice. You can actually view the footage from the dash itself, and there is an SD card in the glove box to help store and extract other footage too. The vehicle also lets you set what it records, so if you only want it to record when there's an impact or only while you're parking, you can do that, or you can have it full times while the vehicle is running. So it is very, very, very nice to have. Someone just said built-in dash cam, sold. Yeah, and it's a very high quality camera too. So it utilizes the camera that's in your windscreen over there, and then also the camera at the rear of the vehicle. It's only available in the Ultimate Calligraphy trim levels, but because it's starting off in the Palisade, I'm pretty confident in saying that it'll move its way into more and more of our car lines. I would expect that it's likely only going to be available on vehicles that have our rear view camera monitoring. So a lot of people are used to having a backup camera, which of course this vehicle still does have. But now, in the last year, we also have the integration of a digital rear view mirror. So that's where this camera comes into play, and that's also what's used for the dash cam recording. Very high tech. Now, it's also nice to note, I don't know if you guys have used dash cams in the past, probably not integrated car dash cams. I have one in my truck, and I have to make a note to myself to unplug it every single time I turn off my vehicle, because it still draws power from my car when the vehicle is off, and it's not even hardwired into the battery. It's plugged into my 12-volt inverter. Now, my older car, there's a very good chance that if I leave my dash cam plugged in for 2 days, I'm gonna wake up, get into my car, and have a dead battery. That won't be the case on this Palisade. Now, the vehicle does have a battery management system that will sense if things are getting dangerously low in the 12-volt world and disconnect the dash cam, if it's going to deplete. So really nice to have it integrated. It also gives you some peace of mind too. I know some people have had warranty claims denied in the past if they have an aftermarket dash cam. This is installed by Hyundai, so you're backed, right? All right, oh, does it have a microphone speaker system to talk to passengers in the second and third row? It does, and that's actually a standard function. So if you get the preferred or all the way up to the Ultimate Calligraphy, you will get the passenger talk. What options of interiors? That's the white interior, not good for families. So I don't have the white interior here. This is the black interior. If you get the Ultimate Calligraphy, you have 3 different options. You can get the all black Napa leather. There's also a brown option, and then there's a 2-tone, which is a navy and a light gray. Haven't seen anything other than the black yet, so I can't show you anything, but at least you get multiple options, right? Mazerborn said that integrated dash cam system might be the first in this segment. It's impressive. It is very, very impressive to see. Now, I know it's not exactly new for the Korean market. You guys have had this, I think, for a year or 2 now, but it's the first time we're seeing it here in North America, and I am so happy. So, so happy. Do you know the fuel efficiency for the hybrid model? So it isn't officially released to us yet, but I did make a note of it. So you guys, this is my notes. This is how I keep my stuff in gear. I did make a note of what they were expecting. Just have to find it now. I believe it was about 7 liters per 100 kilometers combined, that is. Cool thing about the hybrid though, it's a dual motor hybrid. So one motor is going to be to draw power or to recharge your vehicle, and the other is going to be to propel the vehicle. So it's expected that we're going to have over 1,000 kilometers of range on a full tank with this car, and a lot more EV range. So when we're talking regular hybrid, we can't exactly say, all right, you guys, we got 50 kilometers of all-electric range. It's not necessarily measured like that, like a plug-in hybrid would be. Now with this car, because we have such a more powerful electric motor and battery system, we're going to have extended range versus a regular hybrid. Glenn said, oh, 1,000 kilometers. Yeah, that's actually quite a big deal for such a large vehicle that's all-wheel drive. Okay, guys, I don't think I can find where I wrote my estimation for the fuel, but yeah, you guys, I'm sorry, I don't know where I put it. Oh no, but I'm happy to answer any other questions. Glenn said, and I bet that tank is not enormous. No, so it's going to be a smaller fuel tank on the hybrid than the regular gas that we have here today. So it's going to be a little less to fill, still regular unleaded fuel, and over 1,000 kilometers till empty. It's going to be a very impressive car. Very, very impressive car. Got in the comments, hybrid estimate is 34 miles per gallon combined. That's very good, actually. Calligraphy has an active suspension on both ICE and hybrid models, right? Yeah, so it's got a self-levelizing rear suspension. So pretty much if you do decide to tow with this vehicle or you load it up and the back is starting to sag, it'll levelize itself automatically. And that is standard on all trim levels of the Palisade. Speaking of towing, this vehicle, if you do get the gas model, so the 3.5 liter V6, it's 5,000 pounds of towing capacity, and the hybrid has 4,000 pounds, which is still fantastic. It's also worth noting that every single trim level of the Palisade has a heavy-duty transmission oil cooler and pre-wired. Now, if you do get any trim above the preferred trend, so XRT Pro all the way up to the Ultimate Calligraphy, you'll also have a factory integrated tow hitch. That is a first for Hyundai, and hopefully we'll see Kia follow suit too with the new Telluride. But usually that's all stuff that has to be done once the vehicle arrives on the lot, so very, very nice. Let's see. What does the key fob look like, I wonder? Now, this is one thing that I'm a little bit disappointed about, I'm not gonna lie. With a full redesign, I was kind of hoping for a redesigned key fob, but we have the egg again. And let me show you the egg. Now, I'm not too butthurt about this. The car is so impressive that the key is such a small thing. But this is the egg. So we got lock, unlock, our remote start, as well as our panic button. Then on the flip side, sorry, on the actual side portion, you've got your hold for your tailgate, as well as a front and rear remote smart park button. So if I would like to move my vehicle from the key fob, all I have to do is remote start it by pressing lock, pressing and holding remote start until our lights flash, and then I'll press either forwards or reverse and my vehicle will move. Now, it's still going to utilize its sensors to make sure it doesn't hit anything, and you do have to stay in close range of the vehicle. I'll give you a quick pan of the interior again, and of course we're not going to go full in depth in today's video, it's just a Q&A session, but on all models you'll have dual 12.3-inch displays, the beautiful, sleek layout. Huge win, I think, is incorporating physical buttons and dials. What a nice thing to have, especially as the vehicle ages. If you plan on keeping your cars for a long time, it is so nice to be able to change things with a button. And hear me out. When I first got into the car business, I sold a 2016 Tesla Model S. And of course, that vehicle already had the giant screen in the middle, the iPad screen, if you will. Everything is controlled from that screen, just about everything that is. So by the time I sold it, I believe it was 2021, that screen was already getting pretty slow. It sucks having to control everything from a touchscreen, so having a button, guys, it just ages so much better. It's truly nice to have. All right, sorry, that was my little soliloquy. Back to the seats. If you get the Ultimate Calligraphy, you have a little bit of debossing in the headrest, which I think is a nice touch. And this, of course, is the black leather interior, Napa leather. So beautiful, clean look. A lot of controls for the driver's seat. So this is one of the upgrades you get when you reach the Ultimate Calligraphy trim. Number one is the relaxation seat. So you press and hold this, and it'll put your seat in almost a zero gravity style format. So it'll extend the knee rest, drop the recline all the way back and allow you to relax a little bit. You also got a bolster adjustment, 4-way lumbar support, and all your power controls, including a knee extender. Great for somebody with longer legs. You also have the inclusion of an ergo motion seat, so essentially that is the massage function. And once you press that button and the vehicle is on, it'll pull up the menu where you can set what your massage is doing. If you want it to be your back, your butt, or lumbar. You can also change the intensity and for how long it massages you. All right, we got 111 people on right now and only 42 likes. So if you guys are currently watching, if you have any questions, please leave a like, please leave a comment, and I'm here to answer them for you. I'm gonna try my best to get to everything, but again, it's a little hard sometimes. Ryan, thank you so much for answering the pricing questions. Canadian Chapin asked, the engine only has direct injection. So if you're opting for the 3.5 liter V6, you get both multi-point injection and GDI, so gasoline direct injection. Now for the hybrid, it's only listed as GDI, gasoline direct injection. Now what I will say is because it's a hybrid, a lot of the low load situations will be done with the electric motor, so in EV mode, which I think does kind of play a part in minimizing, buildup of the carbon sort. So I do think that is kind of like a supplement for MPI in that sense. However, we'll see how that works once we finally get those cars. So in my opinion, it makes sense to have simply GDI for a hybrid. We have seen it in the past on things like our Santa Fe hybrid or our Kia Sportage hybrid, and it's been great. So again, a lot of the starting and switching is all done with the electric motor. Canadian Chapin said V6, less chance to burn oil than with multi-point injection. You got it. So it makes a lot of sense to incorporate MPI with our GDI. We've seen it in some of our other cars before, but I believe this is the first time we're seeing it with one of our V6s. We've had it in a lot of our turbocharged 4-cylinders, but first time here. It's also worth noting that we have had the V6 Palisade in the past, and it was the only option, but that was a 3.8 liter. Now we have a 3.5 liter. So smaller displacement, there's a slight decrease in horsepower and torque. So we're at 287 horsepower now with 260 pound-feet of torque. In the past, I believe it was 292 horsepower with 200 and something pound-feet of torque. So very small difference there. But you do get better efficiency with this one, same towing capacity, and it's just as smooth. So I do not see a difference in that very, very small horsepower difference. What are the color options? Oh my goodness, there are so many color options, you guys. Now, this one's Galaxy Maroon. Of course, you got our classic white and black. Can't exactly show you the color differences now, especially because Hyundai doesn't have the Palisade on their website yet. I do plan on doing some videos in the future dedicating one individual video to each individual color, so follow along for that, but unfortunately that's not exactly a question I can show you the answer to. I can read you the color names from our internal documents, but I don't know how helpful that'll be. Actually, I might even be able to zoom in. Just want to make sure nothing crazy is being shown. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I can probably show you guys this. All right, give me a second. So we've got Abyss Black, Creamy White, Shimmering Silver, Titan Charcoal, Galaxy Maroon, that's what we've got today, Classy Blue, Robust Emerald, and let me just say Robust Emerald looks nothing like this reference photo. There's also Earthy Brass and Cast Iron Brown. I don't know how much of this I can show you guys, but here's our interior options too. So we've got artificial leather in the Preferred, artificial leather in the XRT, full leather in the Luxury with only a black option. And then when you get to the Ultimate Calligraphy, you get the black Napa leather, the brown, or the navy plus gray two-tone. All right, back to YouTube Studio. Okay, there you go. All right, back to questions. You guys got a little bit of insider info. We need an Elantra and Gabi edition. I'm all for it. I mean, is Preview electric control suspension, active suspension available on both ICE and hybrid models? So there's no active suspension difference. There is the self-levelizing, and then there's multi-link rear, but there is no like active air suspension, if that's what you mean. At least nothing disclosed to us. There is a bit of a difference if you do opt for the XRT Pro, and that is an electronic limited slip differential, so that is quite handy. That's essentially going to give you a little bit more adjustment in the very rear when it comes to both left and right wheels. So that is nice, and it's exclusive to that trim level. It's supposed to help you a little bit more on the off-road-esque side of things. It's also supposed to be a little bit more capable, and I actually mean that this time. In the past, some of our vehicles have off-road-esque trim levels, but there's nothing really too crazy changed to it other than maybe higher roof rails or, cooler wheels. But this vehicle is going to have a higher ground clearance, the raised roof rails again too, as well as that electronically controlled limited slip differential, an off-road mode too, which is supposed to show you a little bit more dynamic functions such as like your transmission temp, all of that stuff, and recovery hooks too, so both in the front and rear. Now, of course, I wouldn't recommend hardcore off-roading these vehicles, but if you ever get yourself in a sticky situation, it can handle it. It's more than capable of handling it. But it's not a dune buggy. Meserborn made a great point. Active suspension equals more maintenance. Yeah, tell me about it. Okay. I feel like I might butcher the pronunciation of your name, but Radivran said, thanks, Ryan. I'm aware that it's a 2.5 liter, so the additional power is because of the 2 electric motors, but not really helping on the towing. I'm just trying to find your original comment. Oh, just curious why the hybrid, despite having better horsepower and torque, has lesser towing capacity, 4,000 pounds, comparing to the V6, 5,000 pounds. Is it because of the body or structural design? It's going to come down to the actual vehicle's powertrain itself. So although you do get more horsepower and torque, it is a little bit more preferable to tow with a V6 or a regular naturally aspirated engine, in my opinion, than the turbocharged. So you could still do it, it's just not rated for it. That's the kicker. You do get a lot of, again, that horsepower and torque, but it's all supplemented by the electric motors. The 2.5 liter turbo itself, what we see in things like the Santa Fe, is about 277 horsepower with 311 pound-feet of torque. So still, again, very punchy, but because a lot of it is supplemented by electric motor, it's just safer to put the towing capacity a little bit lower. All right. Did Ryan answer that actually? So yeah, higher displacement engine is a little safer in regards to full capacity towing. Hyundai Palisade 2026 was announced with active hydraulic suspension for its calligraphy, so I'm seriously worried as no one's discussing about it now. Please can you check into it once? So I can look into it, however, nothing was explicitly said on our internal documents. It's worth noting that depending on where you live, you might have different standard equipment. So we're here in Canada, and this is our Canadian spec Palisade. If you're in the States, things might be a little bit different. Same thing with Korea. Any new Hyundai small cars in 2026? So there's no new vehicles on our radar yet, but one thing I will say is we do still have the venue. I got confirmation from our general manager at our Brantford Hyundai store today because I did see a YouTube comment about it. And the venue is one of those cars that we never really hear much about. Hyundai, we forget about it sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. It's a great car, but they never give us any new info. So it is still here for 2026, and now we actually have a wireless home charger standard in that car, so they are making some tweaks, and there's a new exterior paint color. Any trick to make the second row moving fast to get in the third row? Maybe too early to ask. So no tricks on my side, at least yet. One thing I will say is if you do know that you're picking up some passengers and you want to get things ready for them, you can change it from your screen. So if you're pulling up to, let's say, a friend's house and a bunch of people are hopping in, before they actually leave their house, you can go in your head unit and select which seats you'd like to move up. So that's handy. That way, at least they're not, standing in the doorway waiting. My son is 6'5" tall. How would he fit in the second row? I would assume he'd have absolutely no problem. Seriously, the second row in this vehicle is massive. The seats themselves are also power controlled when you get the captain's chairs, so you can move them up on its rail, back on its rail, recline them to your liking, even lower them. There's so much configuration on the seats all around on this vehicle that I can guarantee you'll be able to find something comfy. The only seats you might not exactly love, but could probably still fit in, would be the third row. All right, now we are at about the 30-minute mark. I do think we answered a good amount of questions today, but if there's anything else we may have missed, please let us know in the comments down below, and I'd be happy to address them. Keep in mind, this is the very first vehicle of the Palisade to arrive here at our dealership in Canada. We haven't got the hybrids yet, so when it comes to the driving and, more so getting a feel for the vehicle, I haven't had the chance to do it. but make sure you follow along, and as soon as we do, we'll be updating you guys. Again, leave a like if you haven't already. We got 100 people on and only 66 likes. It's free to do so and certainly helps us out, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, you guys.